Okay, so I'm going to do a quick rundown of how the technical rundown of how the head on the Sabre turnstile works. First of all, understand there's a serial number that's installed on the front. Also, it comes together with the mounting bolts and nuts and a package at the top. You've got the overriding keys which are supplied. And the way that it works very simply is that you've got the two solenoids in place that are in the lock position. If you unlock it, it just basically keeps that one open so that's free flow and that's that direction. Okay. These are the solenoids, and like I said, it just works like flippers to release the spindle. This unit over here, when you tighten the screw up, the ball bearing over there pushes against the plate, and the reason for that is to keep these two loose when in the natural position. And then this is the limit switch, and that basically tells the relays when to release, so that only one person can go through at a time. And then this is the controller box, the electronics. There's two timer controllers over here, one for in and one for out. At the moment I've got them set for 1 minute. Basically what it means is that should somebody put their finger on a reader and trigger it, after a minute it will automatically lock if they don't go through the turnstile. But as soon as they go through the turnstile, the limit switch will then release it so that if it's sooner than that minute, it will automatically release the lock so that it's locked after one person. The way these things are set, just quickly, you've got three buttons on the bottom here. If you press a button, I'm going to do this just to make it easier. So you've got the three buttons. You press the first button, it then flashes which position you want to change, and then you go up and down over here. So if I go to there, it's 1 minute. If I wanted it to be 2 minutes, I just push it up, or I can make it 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm just going to get out of that. That's programmed. It's that simple. Okay, so that's the configuration of the timer. Now, just to give you an example of how this works, if I short out over here the trigger for the turnstile, the information on the side here has a breakdown of what connects where. So it's pretty straightforward. These first two positions here are the trigger. So if I short out these two, I'm going to basically operate the trigger, and there the one trigger has happened. I'll short out the second two, so now they're both happening. Now if you look at the timers, you'll see they're busy counting down at different times because I was a few seconds out between them. But if I drop the limit switch, you'll see they'll immediately go back to a reset position. So I think it's pretty straightforward. The other thing to note, we put cable ties on the older models. You've got the cable tie saddles over here. We don't tie them down, so you can add any additional cables into there if you do have extra cables that you want to install. On the newer models, we've actually got a steel trunking across the side, so that these cables don't interfere with the mechanism. Yeah, so just to show you the operation one more time, but I'll turn the spindle this time. So if I do a trigger, okay, trigger's happened. The spindle's free to turn now in that direction. So if I turn it, okay, it's turned now. As soon as I touch that limit switch over there, it goes into the lock position, and there it's back into the lock position. Obviously it works a lot easier when you've got the spindle, because the spindle is your power to turn the spindle together with the ball bearing over here. And the only suggestion I have as far as grease goes is, if you have any grease, put a bit of grease on this ball bearing and then tighten this up. You can see how well it works as you tighten it. It'll hold it in its position. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and have a better understanding of how the mechanism works in the Sabre turnstile.